Hello YouTube, vintage radio collectors. Here's a Rincan AM/FM radio from 1960-61. Picked this one up a week ago. What I really liked about it was the condition of the case. The plastic looks great. Not faded, not discolored. The knobs, I'll just grab them over here. The knob's clear, the chrome good. Very little dust or anything inside the radio. This radio was marketed under a number of different names. Lloyd's, whom I believe made it. I've seen the Lloyd's name on it. I've seen Sankyo on it, which is really rare. I've seen Granada, which was a Canadian company that rented TVs, radios, that kind of stuff. My grandparents built a house in 1960, a mid-century modern bungalow, and they got a Granada AM/FM radio, and it was this radio, exactly, the Granada name on it, and this nice long chassis, and that radio played in their kitchen from 1960 to 1997 every day. Listening, because there was a new FM station in town, CFCA 105.3, that had nice soft music. It had a nice German program on it, which they liked. And then there was, of course, in later years when they couldn't go to church, they could listen to church. And that radio played and played and played and played and never was apart. And I think this one was basically the same deal. I only found one new part in it. This 35C5 output you in place of a 50C5. If you use a 35C5, you're going to end up with quite a bit more voltage on the heaters. Didn't really make sense. I think it's just what somebody had. Put in a 50C5. So you've got a 50C5, two 12AT7s, two 12BA6s, a 12AV6, and a 12BE6. And this is what I've replaced on it so far. The 12AT7, one of the elements was dead. The 12BA6 had a short, cathode to heater short. Then one of the other 12BA6 was just very weak. So I freshened it up, the tubes on it, and I recapped. I'm just going to carefully flip it over. You can see the blue caps in place of the above board one. One down here. Any of the oil caps I've replaced. There are a number of power resistors. Basically from there was actually what do you call those things, selenium diode in this instead of a rectifier tube, and the selenium diode was very high resistance. There's only about 60 volts of plate voltage, which made the radio sound, with all the other things, it sounded awful, but it still worked. So I put in a dropping resistor, an IN4007, and a couple new power resistors because they were pretty well tanned from heat. And I'm just going to flip it around. I'm going to put a polarized cord on it because of the hot chassis. Two neon bulbs, the screw-in type, both of them were done, so I replaced those with new rubber grommets. The AM one kind of flickered a little bit. The hardest thing on this so far has been this dial string, and it doesn't even look that hard. I mean, here is the tuning capacitor. There's a few turning points. The knob is under here, but because of the angles and how tight the components are on this, it took me about 1 hour and 3/4 to restring it and get the tension right. It's just one of those things, you know, but works great now. The string was actually broken in this one. And it's got quite a good output transformer. Two 4-inch speakers. So I've got it actually working and everything. I'm just not going to play it because every time I play a radio and get a few seconds of music, I get a YouTube strike. So I'm just not going to do that. Maybe put it on talk radio later. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.